Hey guys, so since we are coming up on the possible ending of quarantine, I'm trying to like catch up on the things that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get that done, like my never-ending list of sewing things. So this actually wasn't even on my project list. I went to wear this dress yesterday. This dress is actually it's on, well, not on Thrift, it was from Thrift off of Depop, which is really cool. I thrift in stores and online now. I love thrifting. Anyways, so I went to wear it and there is a giant tear in the seam. So this is basically going to be a simple tutorial on fixing a tear in any non-stretch fabric straight seam. Very simple. Now I don't have a serger or anything. I'm using an antique sewing machine. So it's just going to be something that doesn't need stretch, because if there was a stretch, which I actually am going to be doing, dropping things, the skirt too, I need to hem its waistline in. I've lost weight. Too baggy now, it like slides down, and I also didn't do a great job. It's like it's wonky on this side. It has like a point in there. You can't see it, but it's okay. Anyways, that is stretch. Technically, you should be using a like a zigzag adapter or a serger if you had one, but I don't have one. Those things are expensive. They do make like like attachments for newer sewing machines that have like a serger attachment, but sergers kind of not necessarily waste a lot of fabric, but they can be really wasteful. Like it cuts it and sews for you at the same time. So like if you don't have everything cut out into these like, basically you have everything pre-cut, but with an extra rim to be cut off by the serger. Maybe you can turn that part off and it just does the seam. I don't know, but as far as I'm aware, it like cuts and puts a seam at the same time. So then you're just wasting the strip of fabric that you can't use. So I'd prefer to not do that, but you can use a zigzag attachment. Basically what that is it gives you, when you're looking at a stitch and you see the little lines that are zigzagging, literally, or on a serger, it'll look like, let's see if I can kind of show you on here. It'll look, that's kind of hard to see. There you go. So you see how there's all that almost like weave in the fabric versus just like a straight line. It allows the fabric to stretch and allows the string to stretch without snapping the string. String doesn't naturally have, elasticity to it. There is string that does, but most string that you're using doesn't. And so you need to have like the zigzag, which doesn't look like that, but it's a similar concept. It goes like this. So when you pull the fabric, the string has room, because you have all these zigzags, so they swoop and get longer. Anyways, that's a lot of explaining. So this dress I went to wear, and the seam on one of the sides, I guess, undid in the washing machine for whatever the reason. It already had a tear in a pocket that I needed to fix, so I'm going to do that too, but I gotta find the side. You're going to want your garment inside out anyways. And where is it? Up here, next to the armpit. See this hole? It's pretty big. Oh, pretty big. Sorry. Basically, I'll show you so you can see the fabric. You can see where there was serged before. See all this? And the rip actually it just unraveled for whatever the reason out of where the seam was. So I'm gonna have to sew behind it. So it's technically gonna be a hair smaller there than it was before, but this is in the bottom, like right in the tip of the waist, so it'll be okay. I'm not doing anything too tight. So basically all I'm gonna do is literally run a straight line down the sewing machine, and then I'll go back over it because I don't have a zigzag attachment. Well, I do have a zigzag attachment, but I really suck at using them because I don't have a serger and I don't have the zigzag attachment on. I'm just gonna do a straight line. This isn't a stretch anyways, so it shouldn't really matter, but I am gonna go over it twice just to like double layer it because the fabric has already started to unravel from where it let go of the original seam. And when I have done this before, if you don't go back over the parts that are unraveling, it'll kind of wheedle its way out of the new seam that you put down, and then you did the whole thing all over again. It's a pain in the butt. So anyways, we are going to do this, and it seems to start right at the base of the pocket, which makes me wonder if the pocket is, no, but see, here's my hole in my pocket. I should fix that first. It's smaller and easier. Anyways, okay, so black string all the way around since this is a black dress. I mean, I could do colored because it's gonna be on the inside, but yeah, so here you go. So I'm just gonna, I'll tie these little string ends when I get done, but I'm gonna run one more little line over that line I already did, just to kind of double back it. Okay, so now I'm just gonna tie all these little ends and the pocket is fixed. Okay, so now I'm gonna re-sew this whole seam. This is literally, the tear is, there. So I'm just relining it up to where it was, holding it nice and tight. This is all my threaded piece, so I technically will pull it up above a little bit, but I'm actually just going to sew it like at the line where it was, below that, but I'm gonna leave it straight where it was rather than pull it up, because if I pull it up to meet the line rather than just sew down underneath that, it's gonna make a weird like fold at the edge, and then it'll look weird, whereas you won't really notice that it's tucked a hair more than the other side. My bobbin string went missing. Time to bob for bobbins. What happened? Why are you not here? Where are you? So I'm going to check the seam. Because it was so close, I have to make sure like it actually got pretty tight. Otherwise it'll unthread again, because it had already frazzled, I guess. I don't know what the word for that would be technically, but also I got some string lump out of the outside. You see where it was unraveling itself. That's okay, I can just trim that off. Otherwise, the seam actually looks pretty good. Yay. Ta-da! No more hole. Okay. So then my next project is this skirt that if any of you are following my roller skating videos, you will have seen, because I wear it a lot because I love it, but it started to come uneven because I've lost weight since I started roller skating, and I bought this at a thrift store and it was like an extra large. So it was like almost 2 inches more than this. But I loved it. Like, look at its texture. It's got velvet. Like, it isn't all velvet. The purple isn't, but it's kind of hard for you to see. But the pattern is velvet, and it's like this beautiful color. I just loved it. Anyways, I got it for like $4, and I was like, I can hem this. It's stretchy, so this will be easy. I just take off a few inches in the waist. But that was my first time really trying that, and so my sew job, as far as trying to take it in and then blend into the seam that was already there, it was good for my first try, but it isn't totally even, and so it kind of pokes on this one side, and I don't like it. But anyways, since roller skating, I've been losing weight anyways, so it's not sitting like up right on my my true waist, which is where I want it to sit. It's starting to slide down, and because it's starting to like kind of hang and stuff. And I'm like, I'm glad that I'm getting into better shape from roller skating, but no, we gotta fix this. So basically, I'm gonna flip this inside out. This is gonna be a little weird for me because I haven't done this before. It's like you can, this is actually a good example. You see how there's like a lump? I shouldn't be there. This is where I did the new seam. You can see where I ran out of black thread and then I went to white. And this is like the original seam. So if you look at it, you can see it doesn't truly follow, like it should be kind of like a, you know, line, and instead it gets there and it kind of dips, and yeah. So anyways, I'm going to basically take, not the whole thing in, but from like probably about here, I'm going to make a new line and then go from there. Okay, so what I've done is I measured in 1/4 of an inch using a Sharpie paint pen. Yes, that is going to stain your cloth, so, but this is dark and I'm doing it on the inside, so I'm not worried about it. But if you have something that's like light, don't do that. Use like the chalk that they make for sewing. I don't have any, so my paint pen worked very well. They do make like, not Sharpie, sorry, like fabric markers so that it doesn't stain. Anyway, so 1/4 of an inch, and then what I did is use a good old-fashioned ruler and basically line out down the seam on the side to what is actually like a straight line to that seam, running into the original seam. You might be able to see, it's kind of hard to see, it stops like right there because that's where I run back into the regular seam, and this can just stay as it is because I'm only bringing in from here up. So anyways, did that on both sides. You're gonna do it on an alternate side, so like this side has the marker and then this side has the marker, because when I get ready to run it through the machine, I'm gonna go like this, you know, and then I'll flip it to the other side to be able to go to the same angle. So see, then my marker's on the right side. I need to turn on this light, so I'm sorry, it's gonna blind you guys a little. Turn this bit off, though. Okay, so you can kind of see there's my seam, so there's an extra like 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch roughly. So anyways, basically, since I actually changed the somewhat of the shape and the size, I will go try this on before I actually trim the extra fabric off. When you do go to trim the fabric off, it would behoove you to leave some space. If you get too close, it'll start to unravel and it'll come up underneath your threads, and if you made it like right to the T on fitting, then it'll be screwed because it'll be too small if you try to fix it. So leave yourself some space. You could even technically leave these in, but this is just a little more than I want, so I'll trim off part of it, but I'll leave the rest of the seam most likely just so it has a double back. Maybe not right here where it's lumpy, I'll take that part off. But yeah, so there you go.